A few years ago, I was looking for a roommate. The vacancy had arisen because my previous one was a Swedish guy who'd been having some trouble with homesickness. Eventually, it got too much and he moved away to somewhere with a colder climate. So, as you do, I put some ads up on various sites, and it didn't take long before a guy called Robert responded. We messaged back and forth a couple of times and arranged to meet up one day at Starbucks. I was immediately struck by his easy charm and wit. You couldn't hope to meet a person who was easier to talk to. He was in art school with ambitions of making it big as a painter. How exactly one would go about that, I have no idea. But we became friends straight away, and I didn't think twice about letting him move in. Just before we parted ways that day, Rob, as he'd insisted I call him, asked a question I really didn't anticipate. Now, I know this is a weird question, but are you by any chance afraid of clowns? He said with a smile. I suppose so, I replied, wondering why anyone would ask. I probably watched Stephen King's It at a stupidly young age. Are you scared of them? Oh, damn, he said. I'm a clown on the weekends. I do like charity events and fundraisers, visit sick kids in hospitals sometimes. Is that a problem for you? I mean, I know some people are seriously scared of clowns. Oh, of course not. That sounds cool. It's just the bad clowns that scare me. I had never personally known one before, but Rob didn't seem scary. I promise, I don't kill kids, he said with a grin. He threw his neck back and drained the last of his coffee from the cup. It's the adults I go for. I burst out laughing. What a cool guy, I thought. Our first few weeks living together went about as smoothly as possible, as things were a good deal more peaceful than they had been with my previous roommate. I definitely didn't miss being awoken at unholy hours by his sobbing. Rob would get up, go to class, come home, and then paint or have a quiet drink with a friend or two. Sometimes on the weekend, he'd put on his clown suit and go out to those charity events he'd talked about. He didn't seem like a scary clown. He was so cool, in fact, that he even began to change my view of clowns. There was a freezer in our kitchen that I told Rob not to bother using. It hadn't been right since before he moved in. I kept meaning to call someone to come out and look at it or replace it, but I guess it must have slipped my mind. One day, about 5 months after Rob moved in, I came home to find the lights on, but total silence in the house. That was strange. Rob was always watching TV or playing his guitar. He hated silence. But I really knew something was up when I noticed something different about that freezer. The freezer door was open. I walked over and looked inside. Oh my god. 8 chunks of a human body, all cut up neatly and stored tidily on the shelves. I can't really explain how I felt at that moment. I panicked. What the hell can you do in that situation? My mind was racing, and I thought back to the day when we met, when Rob made that joke about only killing adults. Holy crap. Just then, a faint shuffling noise came from Rob's room. I didn't know what to do. For some reason, I tiptoed over to his room to see what the hell was happening. I don't know, I suppose adrenaline just takes over at that point. I peered in, and sure enough, there he was, lying on the floor with a mad look in his eyes as he stared at the ceiling. After a long delay in which I'm sure he was aware of my presence, he looked up at me. You sick bastard. I'm calling the police. Clowns are the worst roommates, don't you think? Always uncovering the dead bodies in places you specifically told them not to look. I'm afraid I had to kill him too. So now, my old Swedish friend has a dorm partner to sleep along with him in that big freezer. Oh, by the way, I'm still looking for a new roommate, if anyone's interested.